Watu wa H-1B visa umefikiwa.
One of the most abused visa systems in our current immigration system has been the H-1B non-immigrant visa program.
Watu wa K-1 visa, you are next. Roll the tape.
No more will these big tech companies or other big companies train foreign workers. They have to pay the government $100,000, then they have to pay the employee. So it's just not economic. If you're going to train somebody, you're going to train one of the recent graduates from one of the great universities across our land. Train Americans, stop bringing in people to take our jobs. That's the policy here.
Rewind the tape.
President, one of the most abused visa systems in our current immigration system has been the H-1B non-immigrant visa program. This is supposed to allow highly skilled laborers who work in fields that Americans don't work in to come into the United States of America.
Do you remember when President Ruto came to America in a private jet? You remember that scenario? It was in Atlanta. Do you remember him in one of these low-level town halls with Kenyans in Atlanta? And when he was at the stage, he was fielding questions and answering questions, and somebody put there in the wish list of the things that they wanted the president to talk about, and they said H-1B visa. Now, let's fast forward. In my comment, and I cannot remember whether it was a comment or I recorded that video. Either way, I said Kenyans are going to abuse the H-1B visa, and the president is going to be dragged into it, and he is going to regret it. They screamed. Now we are going back. They screamed to the president when he's at the podium. What else? H1 what? H1B visa? H1B visa? If I have time to edit this video, I'll put what I'm saying in the video.
To protect abuse of those powers that were being used to favor individuals from friends and things like those. So that is the trouble we have with that.
You will see the conversation that happened. It's not the business of the president to know what H-1 visa is. So that is not the story. They screamed the H-1B visa as the things they wanted the president to address when he meets American officials, and the ambassador, the former ambassador, was there. The HP executive. I can't remember what her name is. Megan Whitman. Now, I said, I know Kenyans, and they are going to abuse that visa, and they are going to damage the name of the president. That's what I said. President Donald Trump yesterday issued an executive order to raise the fees for the H-1B visa sponsorship from $1,000
to $100,000.
From 1.3 million Kenya shillings to 13 million Kenya shillings, so that he can get rid of the abuse of the H-1B visa.
This will ensure that the people they're bringing in are actually very highly skilled and that they're not replaceable by American workers.
The same one I had predicted when our own president was in Atlanta. I was having a conversation with a Kenyan in Seattle in one of my YouTube products. And he wanted to pick my brains about what to do because his H-1B visa is in the limbo. He had lost the job in the company that supported his H-1B visa because the H-1B visa works under the employer, and the H-1B visa, in brief, attracts unique talents in the area of science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. So this guy had lost status on his H-1B visa because he had lost the job that sponsored the said visa. And now he was in the grace period. And so he was raking my brain on what to do. In his manifesto, in his text to me on WhatsApp, before we could talk, he had even indicated that he's thinking of going back to Kenya. So when we got to talk, we explored the options. And I told him, I asked him because I didn't know, what is the minimum employee number for a company to qualify to sponsor somebody on a H-1B visa? How big does the company have to have for them to be able to sponsor a H-1B visa? And I say, even a company with 5 employees, they can do it. I say, okay, now, because his idea was go to Kenya to save his place in the future of the H-1B visa. Because if he steps out of the country, then that visa stays active. If he stays in America and the grace period for when he lost the job, the sponsorship, to when he gets a job, there is a grace period there. If that grace period expires while he is here, then he loses the H-1B visa. Now he becomes out of status. And so the things we explored were downgrade your H-1B visa into a B1, B2, a visitor visa, so that you can be issued with an I-92, which is the authority that makes you stay here, not the visa, as a B1, B2 visa holder. Get the I-92 and then use the time of the I-92. It comes with 180 days, 6 months. Use the 6 months to figure out now what you need to do while you put your H-1B visa on ice so that it does not expire. If you stay, one thing, let me go back. If the grace period between employer to the new employer on H-1B visa expires, that H-1B visa gets you out of status. You are here illegally. But if you downgrade the H-1B visa into a B1, B2, then you put the H-1B visa on ice, and the B1, B2 gives you an I-92 that gives you 6 months to stay in status in America as you figure out what to do. Because his first option before the phone call was, maybe I just need to go back to Kenya. I said, no. You should not give up on your dream like that. Try the options while you are still here. And he was telling me he has been out of job for 3 months and he has exhausted his savings. So Kenya looked very appetizing for him because of the finances. Now, I have not talked to him since then. I have sent him a message after I saw what Donald Trump is doing. He has not read the message. So I'm not too sure whether he stayed or he left. But now here is the problem. Either way, he has been caught up in that web of the $100,000 sponsorship. His new employer has to cough out $100,000 to give him the H-1B visa that is on ice, new status, new life. So whether he is here and he hadn't gotten the job before 2 days ago, that is his predicament. Whether he went to Kenya to salvage the new lease of life of the H-1B visa, that is still his predicament. The new employer has to be willing to cough out 100,000 $100,000, 13 million Kenya shillings, for him to come back to America. The cause of all this is the abuse that I spoke of when they brought up the idea of our own president talking about H-1B visa with the American authorities, that they are going to abuse it. They have abused it. You can take this as a selective outrage and say, why are you blaming Kenyans for having abused it? Are we the only ones who abused it? Run with that. I'm president of making victims. Next in line, K-1 visa. That is the one that is going to affect Kenyans directly. When you go to Kenya and you bring a spouse, male or female, under the K-1 visa, as a spouse, as a wife, as a husband, they are coming for that one next. Insider information. They are coming for that one next because it has been abused. Now, in that scenario, where you go and bring a wife, they are going to extend the time before when that K-1 visa can be turned into a green card. And one of the conditions are going to be the longevity of the divorce, of the marriage, because the abuse is in the divorce, because these are not real relationships. In the new memo circulating internally in DHS, Department of Homeland Security, is that now that is where they look. Marriages that happen immediately after somebody comes on a visitor visa to the US are also under scrutiny. Somebody comes today, in 2 weeks they are married and they are filing for temporary green card, under scrutiny. So things are going to be very segemnege in the next few days. All these things are going to unfold. Yes? Hi. Thank you. All right. So that is the scenario. I will expound more on the K-1 visa in the next video. They are going to scrutinize how genuine those relationships are that turn out into filing for papers immediately after this spouse get to Kenya. regardless of whether they came on a H1B, I mean on a K1 or they came on a B1, B2. Those ones are now under scrutiny. Hiyo ndio mambo. Niko boka. Imejipa.